Well, as I always say, Mondays are usually the most boring day starting the week. But if you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, you're always on the right channel. For today, we're going to be doing two reviews. The first one is from Stardom in Kofu that happened this past Sunday, which of course features some preliminary matches that'll be coming up soon and other fun matches as well. And then we move on, of course, with New Japan Pro Wrestling with King of Pro Wrestling featuring plenty of title matches such as the IWGP Women's Championship, the Never Openweight Championship, the IWGP Tag Team Championship, the Global Championship, and of course the World Heavyweight title, and a couple of course, oh yeah, and the New Japan World Television title as well. So these are going to be an epic event, and of course we ask ourselves, will we see any title changes? We just have to wait and see. And then, as always, we'll cap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got through Nike Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers. It's time to rock. So, let's begin with Stardom. Okay, Stardom in Kofu. Now, this is their much recent event that happened this past Sunday, and it was at the Imesi Yamanashi. I don't know where the hell that is, but yes. Now, our opening match, we have, of course, Sakurada, or also better known as members of the Cosmic Angels, Sayaka Kurara and Aya Sakura. They take on the members of Stars, more specifically Momokogo and Saya Ida. So I have to say that this will be a perfect opportunity for both Kurara and Sakura to sharpen their skills as a tag team, because many of you know this. They are set to face, of course, the New Blood Tag Team champions themselves. We know they had challenged for those belts recently, but we haven't heard anything yet when or where it's going to happen. We know because recently Aya Sakura was in a singles match against Hanako for the future belt. But we'll see how that rolls. But you probably know, we know that Saya Ida and Momokogo are very good to cohesion. They have already teamed up a lot longer than them. But I would have assumed that there would have been some indications that there was going to be an upset here or some sorts. but in the end, it was Sakura who was able to apply this new pinfall trap that she applied on Momokoko, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have a tag team match. We have the rookies, Kikyo Furuzawa and Emma Maishima. They take on, of course, FWC, Koguma and Azuki. Now, of course, it's no secret about FWC. They are both a great cohesion team in Stardom. They are, in fact, one of the most impressive and decorated teams, and not to mention, as singles competitors, they're rivals. But it always worked out very well for them. And of course, you cannot forget Maishima and Furuzawa. Well, they're not currently affiliated with any factions whatsoever within Stardom, but we know that they're rookies and their experience has not yet reached that level. But we do know they could have been, one of them would have been the lucky one to take the fall, and unfortunately, that person turned out to be Furuzawa when she ended up in the clutches of some sort of like a modified crossface by Azuki, and just like that, she tapped out. Now, our next match, we have singles action. We have Yuri Him and Rana Yagami. So, interesting enough, these two ladies, as you know, they're still rookies with a different, of course, time difference when they both debuted. And of course, you would have assumed that Rana Yagami, who has better, experience than her, not to mention her background in karate, has always been a very helpful maneuver, and that's exactly what she did. She applied, of course, the infamous armbar that we have seen various wrestlers use, and that always been helpful. So that's how she won, when Yuri Him actually tapped out. Our next match, we have the Cosmic Angels, Yuta Mizumori, Sayuri Anu, and Natsupoi. They take on Hate members Azusa Inaba, Momo Watanabe, and Sayaka Mitani. Now, of course, nothing too special, but of course, you can tell that Natsupoi hasn't forgotten, one way or the other, that she will get her hands on Kamitani for what she did to Tam Nakano. And that's always been a factor right there that could happen down the road. But you would have assumed that in some capacity, when it comes to Hate, their usual tactics, using weapons, softening up their opponents outside the ring, try to break them in half, would have been enough for them to win. Nope, that wasn't the case. The victory went to the Cosmic Angels, all thanks to Yuna Mizumori when she applied the Supergirl, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have EXV members, all three of them, Rian, Hanako, and Waka Tsukiyama take on the members of God's Eye, consisting of Lady C, Hina, and Ami Suri. Now, of course, it's no secret when it comes to Lady C and Hanako. Many of you may not know this. When Hanako first came around, she used to team up with Lady C all the time. And they actually did challenge for the New Blood Tag Team belts, but they were unsuccessful. Until, of course, Hanako ended up teaming up with Maika and then forming EXV along with Mina, Waka, and then, of course, Xena. And that's always been the case right there. But it was, in fact, Lady C that picked up the win onto Rian, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have the other members of Hate, consistent of Rina, Konami, Raka, and Natsuko Tora, taking on Mi Vida Loca, consistent of Akira Kurigani, Izuki Aoki, Rina Yamashita, and Bozilla. Now, this match is considered a preliminary match. For those who did not know it or watch, when they were wrestling at the Korkon Hall event, after, of course, Natsuko Tora and Raka were able successfully to retain the belts against Lady C and Ami Suri, well, Izuki Aoki and Rina Yamashita became the next challengers. So you can ask that question. But, of course, when it comes to Hate, like always, we know they're going to use dirty tactics. I mean, weapons like Momo's bat, Raka's box, Rina's whip, and Natsuko Tora's pipe. But none of that was in effect until Aoki was able to pick up the pinfall on Raka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, momentum goes to Aoki and Yamashita. So basically, this is going to put, of course, a bit of a history. Now, of course, Hate, Natsuko and Raka are saying, you're going to bury yourselves alive with this. Well, this time they picked up the momentum, but we'll see how things will go from there. Now, I think we have our main event. Yes, our main event, we have God's Eye, consisting of Tomoka Inaba, Saki Kashima, and Shuri taking on the members of Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, Mei Sita, and Starlight Kid. Now, nothing too special about this, but you can consider that this is a warm-up match for Shuri. As many of you know, the day after this event, which we're going to review next after that, of course, is when Shuri is preparing for her upcoming match against Sari for the IWGP Women's Championship. And that sets it up right there because, of course, we know what these two teams are capable of. I mean, you look at Tomoka Inaba, a student of Taka Michinoku, but at the same time, much like Rane Agami, they do have a background in karate. Then you have, of course, Saki Kashima. Well, she may be a bit of a sneaky, but she is always useful with some usual unorthodox that benefits, of course, God's Eye. And then Shuri, who is the fearless leader. And then you look at Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, Mei Sita, our current high-speed champion, and Starlight Kid, our current belt champion. So that kind of sets it up right there. Basically, you can tell each of them what bring to the table. But, however, it was Shuri who picked up the momentum when she pinned Amasaki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, during the post-match, Shuri had the pleasure to close down the show, inviting into the ring the other members of God's Eye who already previously had their matches. And of course, Shuri, as you know, is well prepared for her match against Sari. So we'll see what happens next. So that's the one we're going to do. So let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling, King of Pro Wrestling. Okay, final review. New Japan Pro Wrestling, King of Pro Wrestling. This is their much recent event they normally would do at the Ryogoku Kokugikan. Hopefully I pronounced it right because I don't want to act like Mayu Iwatani and embarrass myself. But yes, so this is one of their big shows. And we have plenty of title matches and special matches as well. Now, our first match is for the IWGP Women's Championship, a rematch to previously. As you all know, Shuri lost the belt a couple of months ago to Sari, but she took some time off for, of course, to go overseas to sharpen her skills, but at the same time to heal from her elbow injury, which was bothering her. And now she now has the opportunity to reclaim what she lost. And this match was aggressive in every way possible because we know how Shuri is a former MMA fighter, part of the UFC. For many who did not know that, well, she did. And as for Shuri, she in fact is tough as hell. She hits hard, and that's capable. She's trying to prove herself that she wasn't a failure like people would have thought, because people often said, and many of you would agree, people called her a failure when she was in WWE. WWE dropped the ball on that one, guys. But that was the whole point. And of course, Shuri was able to pick up the win by reclaiming the belt, the championship, by applying one of her moves, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she reclaimed it. Now, our next match, as you know, we have the members of the unaffiliated, Titan, Hiromu Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi taking on the members of the War Dogs, consistent of Taiji Shimori, Clark Connors, and David Finlay, because as you probably know, we have the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship on the line between Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji. And that kind of sets it up right there for everyone. But you ask yourselves how this is going to play out. Well, I wasn't too sure. But in the end, it was Finlay that walked away with the win when he applied the overkill onto Titan. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match is called a Riot in Ryogoku No Disqualification, No Countout match. Now, as you all know, Sanada became a turncoat after initially he betrayed Taichi and the rest of Just 5 Guys, and then, of course, betraying the Bullet Club War Dogs to join, of course, his old pal Evil in the House of Losers. But Drilla Maloney was the one who felt more like, he always believed that Sanada, he, as a member of the group, he never hanged out with them. They never actually, let's say Sanada was not being a team player. And Drilla Maloney always had that thing, was like, I always thought there was something odd with you because you never were a team player to begin with. And that's always been the case. And not to mention, Maloney has been the victim of Sonata's shenanigans with his guitar, using it as either to disqualify Maloney or whatever. But of course, Maloney was going to play games and he convinced him for this match. But you know this match was going to be brutal. Now, of course, because Sonata's a member of the House of Losers, you know the losers always have their buddies around to ensure they win their matches. Well, they had Kanemaru and, of course, Dick Togo, but thank God Maloney had his tag partner, Clark Connors, by his side. And, of course, he took care of business and taking out the trash and brought that wheel of his to deal with the mess. But in the end, Maloney was the one who became the victor when he applied the Driller Killer, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, bye Sonata. So, see you later, pal. Now, our next match, we have an interesting 6-man tag match. We have, of course, TMDK, Hartley Jackson, Rohei Oiwa, and Kosa Fujita taking on, of course, what used to be members of Chaos, now part of Huntai. Yo, 1/3 of the Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions, teaming up with former Chaos teammates, former tag partners, Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto, also known as Bishamon. Well, many of you know this. Hiroki Goto is the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. And of course, Goto is back. You know, we don't know how long he's been out. We know he's recently been working on the latest Street Fighter film, and can't wait to see that. And I'm sure many of you can't wait to see it either. But it was a pretty good match, I'm not going to lie. But I have to say, Goto has not missed a step because he took out, what's his name? Hartley Jackson with the Goto Revolution. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Our next match, this is for the New Japan World Television Championship. El Phantasmo defends his belt against the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. As you all know, Tanahashi, his time is almost running out before we head to the start of 2026 until he retires. And I have to say, this was a fantastic match. I have to say, Tanahashi, no matter what, even though we know that his body has been deteriorating for long, he stood tall. Even El Phantasmo put everything on the line. But unfortunately, the match ended in a 15-minute time limit draw, which of course sucks, but it was a pretty good match. But in the post-match comments, this is something what's interesting. Tanahashi said, I never got the chance to team up with you. And of course, that's when El Phantasmo said, how about this? You and I team up at World Tag League. Make this your epic last hoorah in some ways. And I guess Tanahashi felt like maybe he's right. Because what better way to end your career to do things that you know you have time to do until it's too late. And I think this is that time that he feels, why not? Let's do it. So I can't wait to see that. Now our next match is for the Never Openweight Championship. Now you all know that piece of garbage of a scumbag Evil. He likes to claim that he's the real champion. No, he's a coward because he doesn't like to defend the belt. He would do whatever it takes to keep it because he has his loser of a buddies by his side. And that's exactly what he tried to do during the match. Of course, the entirety of the House of Torture showed up. But thank God for Yano for having the young lions, hey, take out the trash. And that's exactly what they did. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough until Sho showed up along with Doiki. And matters, as always, got in the way, and then Evil applied everything is evil, and he is now the new Never Openweight Champion. That's a load of crock of poo-poo right there, because no one wants Evil. But of course, Evil wants to set an example to Bolton Oleg. The Young Lions tried to intervene, but out of nowhere, Aaron Wolf, who was supposed to stay out of this, he could not stand it. He took out half of those losers with his judo skills. And of course, Evil wasn't going to take that. Of course, Evil has a temper tantrum. He thinks he's high and mighty. But the speculation is, as you all know, Aaron Wolf will be making his debut at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th, 2026. So most likely, we could see Evil versus Aaron Wolf. But I know Evil is not going to take this kindly. He told him to wash his back because, of course, when you mess with the House of, well, he calls it torture, I call them House of Losers, he's going to come after him. Well, we'll see what happens. But Aaron said in his post-match comments that he just reacted. He wasn't thinking. His body reacted. So, well, we'll see. Anyway, let's move on. Our next match is the IWGP Tag Team Championships. We got, of course, the Knockout Brothers. Oscar and Yuto Ice defend them against Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura. I have to say, fantastic match. I mean, it was pretty interesting because, of course, the Knockout Brothers have been trying to show the world that every other tag team they have ever faced were nothing but fakers and all of that. And, of course, we know that Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura have been looking for their own fitting as individuals, but they have been looking as their fitting as a tag team. And they did a fantastic job, but unfortunately, with the aggression of course, of the Knockout Brothers, well, they retained the belts when they applied the KOB onto Uemura, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, which is our semi-main event, is the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, of course. We have, give me a second. Sorry, strange text. Anyway, the Global Heavyweight Championship. For many of you know this, Yota Tsuji was the previous champion, but he lost it to Gabe Kidd not too long ago, and that's always been the case. Gabe Kidd, as you know, had defended a few times, but he was has been, of course, been successful. But as for Yota Tsuji, we know he's been aiming, because both these guys, they're trying to be the guys who's going to be at the top. And that's always been the case. Gabe Kidd is always trying to prove that he was the better person, even though he has loyalty to New Japan, but he feels that he can bring New Japan to a new height. And Yota Tsuji, of course, well, he just wants to bask in the glory. That's always been his case. But the match was so impressive. Now, you would have assumed that Yota Tsuji would have won by applying one of his usual moves, like the Gene Blaster. Well, nope. As you probably know, these guys used to be young lions, and they decided to go back to school by applying the Boston Crab. And that, my friends, it's how the whole thing ended. And Yota Tsuji is the first ever two-time IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. But, of course, we saw the handshake between those two, and both sides of the unaffiliated and, of course, the War Dogs. Now, our main event is for the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Many of you know this. Konosuke Takeshita became the G1 Climax winner, and he will be challenged for this belt. Now, this match normally would have happened in Wrestle Kingdom, which obviously would have been, but no, Takeshita wasn't going to wait that long, so he wanted to do so. And man, the match was intense. I know Zack Sabre Jr. did everything humanly possible to try to break down this Takeshita in any way possible. But in the end, it was a power drive knee strike onto Zack Sabre Jr. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. He is now the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Now, of course, who was going to be the challenger to challenge him? Well, Hiroki Goto. Many of you know this. Goto defeated Takeshita at the G1. So you probably can guess that's how it's going to be at. But however, here's the kicker that many of you don't know. During a video that was posted on AEW, Don Callis was in fact, of course, celebrating his birthday. But Takeshita sent a video, but Okada was like not hearing it because everybody was celebrating the fact that Takeshita is the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. But Takeshi's like, big whoop, I want it more than him. So there's tensions there. But we'll see how things will go with Takeshita, because as you know, he's going to be going back and forth, the Japan and the United States. So stay tuned for more on that. But as of right now, we are officially done with our reviews. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to, of course, our news updates. So let's begin, as always, with upcoming events. So, first we have the Seattle-based promotion DEFY with their upcoming event on the 24th of October. that will be making their debut in Portland, Oregon, called Wraith. Matches have been announced. The first one is the Bollywood Boys will take on the Infantry. Uh, and then we have John Moxley taking on Royce Isaacs. And then we have the DEFY Women's Championship on the line. Marina Shafir takes on Su Young. So that's going to be interesting to watch. And then the GCW has the House of Horrors on the 28th of October in Rochester, New York, also known as Brody Lee Country. They announced Joshua Bishop will be participating. And then, of course, we have Jersey Championship Wrestling with Possession taking place on the 26th, I believe. No, hold on. Yeah, GCW House of Horrors on the 24th, my bad. So anyway, back to JCW. On the 26th of October, we have, of course, the Possession by Jersey Championship Wrestling with Monster match being added more wrestlers. We have Tony Deppen and Griffin McCoy. Baka Gaijin and Friends have another event they announced, but they haven't mentioned which volume this one is. I don't know if there's going to be a special event. This one's going to take place on the 28th of October. They announced Chris Brooks will take on a copy. And then finally, we have, of course, that promotion based in Vancouver, Canada, that I mentioned, where Sayuri Namba will be making her debut. A match had been announced for that event on an event called The Eternal on the 2nd of November. The match is Lizzie Hall versus Robert Martyr. So that's pretty much for upcoming events. Now for some interesting developments. Many of you know this, that Utami Hayashishita is pretty much upset about the upcoming event on the 26th of October in Marigold, where the main event is going to feature Mayu Iwatani and Io Sky. Now, some people would say, why would she be upset? Here's why. Many people would agree to this, and this has happened before in Pro Wrestling Noah. Now, let me give you guys a brief description about that situation. Keno, who at the time was, in fact, the GHC Heavyweight Champion, he was posted as the semi-main event, while the main event features, of course, Naomichi Marufuji versus Kota Ibushi. Keno was like, what the hell, man? I'm the heavyweight champion. This belt is the main event, not this crap. And Utami Hayashishita is feeling the same kind of thing with Keno, that knowing now that her match with Miku Anu will be, in fact, the semi-main event, while the main event features Io Sky and Mayu Iwatani. And she made a brief statement about that frustration. So this is what she had to say. Including my previous promotion, this is the 4th time my title match has been placed in the semi-main event since I became the promotion top champion. I'm particular being in the main event since the title match was at the top belt promotion. It's frustrating. Even it was match between Io Sky and Mayu-san, so I want to put on a match that steals a show from the main event. And I'll show the match people would say Red Belt should have been the main event after it's over. So yeah, I mean, I don't blame Utami Hayashishita. I mean, look, I agree that this match should have been the main event, but what can you do? I mean, there's always politics involved. Not American politics or anything, but people making those goddamn decisions. Now, many of you know this, the Rigde Holland is out for a while due to an injury, but later it was revealed that WWE will not be renewing his contract, so it expires on November 14th, so he left a brief statement on this one. I've been informed that WWE will not be renewing my contract when it's on November 14th. WWE still going to cover my rehab from injury, but guaranteed pay with end. Quite frustrating to say the least, as I cannot work another 6 months due to the aforementioned injury with a family of 5 to support. My career with W has been blighted by misfortune, but I'm still thankful and grateful for the opportunity and experience. The shining light that has always kept me going is the huge support, and thankful for special human beings. Thank you. I'm unsure what lies ahead of me in terms of wrestling, but going forward we'll be working hard to heal up in the time I will be launching my online coaching business. So stay tuned. Cheers. So yeah, I mean, I get it. It's not. We know that Rigde Holland has not been in the position where he should have been, where he's at. But yeah, I mean, what's he gonna do? There's nothing he can do about that. I mean, that's how things are. Now, let me see. Oh yeah, Darby Allin was talking about the vibe around AEW amazing now, compared to a few, believes that the cancer was uh, cut out of the company. And this is what he had to say. This was during an interview with Ariel Helwani. Many of you know him. He normally never had AEW wrestlers, interview, but now he does. But he has Darby. This is what he says. It's amazing that I'm just saying that a few years ago you definitely felt like this tension, but now everybody on the same page. Let's make this place as good as possible. And I feel like a lot of people truly have to understand how good they have it, because Tony doesn't he just wants everybody in the ring, in their personal life, to be happy. That's really good energy where it is. Hey, everybody, be best versions of yourself. And I feel like right now, more than ever, everybody's on the same wavelength. Everybody has the same goals. The cancer got cut out. Just egological wrestlers that don't want to lose. That the thing I was saying earlier with wrestling, with climbing Mount Everest, it just kept me grounded and level-headed. And end of the day, this all stage is the greatest thing in the world. But it's stage. If you're going to have ego about that, get out of the fucking sport. Go be in the UFC. Go try. You know what it means. Don't bring that shit here. This is about having fun. This is just putting a good energy. It's like, come on, man, just stop. And that's the biggest thing with me. Once and once the and that's the biggest thing with me. Once all got cleared, I felt okay, cool, let's rock. But I just don't want to. I just don't like egos, and I can't stand them. I get it, guys. Like, sometimes in a work environment, you just got to be on your best behavior, be the best person of yourselves, and get along. But if you have ego involved, then there's no business being that. I mean, I work security. There's definitely some egos when it comes to people when they're as supervisors and all that. And the same thing with any other type of business. But yeah, that's how it is. Recently, of course, we have Summer Sorrel, who is one of the recent releases as well, have left a comment after her WWE just recently let go. So this is the last one for all of you, and this is what she had to say. It's hard to find the right words to express that wrestling means to me. I have developed a passion and love for the business that is unlike anything I have felt before. I have loved every second from long, stressful days filming to challenging days in the ring, too many hours of rehab, not a moment where I didn't feel like the luckiest girl in the world. The reality is that I struggle with the same ongoing injury during the majority of my time at the Performance Center. This held me back from being able to show my true potential in the ring. Knowing that I only got the opportunity to show a fraction of what I am capable of, or of it's what's hurting me the most. But if that was going to be a fraction, imagine what's going to happen when I'm really at 100%. The story doesn't end here. It finally gets interesting. So it seems that she did not get the opportunity she would have shown me to show her wrestling crowd. That's something that many of us would definitely want to get to know. But I can't wait to see what she's going to do. It seems like she wants to make a living out of this one. So we'll see what happens down the road. So as of right now, we are officially done with our updates and everything else. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have NXT. We're going to see how things will progress. As you probably know, we're still coming off from No Mercy, and of course the showdown that took place. And of course, we're going to find out who's going to be a number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship against JZ Jane, and plenty other things. Now, if there's any other reviews I might do, we'll see how things will go from there. But as of right now, we'll leave things as it is and move forward. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang!